National Convention from the 1st Congressional District, the election warden has reported to me that there were 416 people who cast ballots, and the good news is that everyone who is elected as a delegate has to get at least 50% of that number in order to be elected. Excuse me, there were 830 ballots, people who voted, not 460, my mistake. 830 people who voted. So, need to get 50% plus 1 in order to qualify. So if there weren't 3 people who got 50% plus 1 of the ballots cast, we'd have to have a runoff. The good news is there won't be a runoff. And the privilege of going to Tampa, Florida in the middle of the summer goes to Linda Bean. Linda Bean got 457 votes, and Aaron Libby and Ronald Morell were tied at 449. The other vote totals, ladies and gentlemen, were Peter Chinchett with 316 votes, Charlie Summers with 306 votes, John Courtney with 297 votes, David Emery with 48 votes, Elaine Bridge with 18 votes, Tim Bryant with 17 votes, and William Gombar with 7 votes. Yes, sir. For what purpose does the delegate rise?
Point of order. I've personally observed numerous credential irregularities. The most interesting one is I was approached by a woman.
The district caucus will be in order to allow the gentleman to proceed.
Mr. Chair, I was approached by a woman with credentials that were my wife's credentials. She's not here. That was just one of the irregularities. I've seen voting cards given out to people without identification, counting stickers without identification. I observed it personally. It's not hearsay.
The caucus
that is
hearsay. Please allow the gentleman to proceed. Thank you.
Given these irregularities, I object to the continuation of these proceedings, and I object to that last vote. I move that it be declared void.
Oh, he is?
The chair thanks the gentleman for his comments, but there is no appropriate motion before the body. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chair, I feel that ruling.
Now, we will proceed.
Point of order, if I may importune.
The delegate will state his point of order.
Point of order regards quality controls when making sure that the number of ballots handed back in equaled the number of delegates who were present at the time. There is no quality control I am aware of that would prevent a town getting 50 ballots, there only being 25 delegates present, and then turning back in 30 votes. What quality control did we have to prevent that from taking place?
The chair thanks the delegate.
Sorry, I have to make a motion. If we don't have a clear quality control, then how can we say the vote was valid? My motion would be, we don't have a valid election.
That motion is not appropriate before the caucus.
How could I appropriately put it before the caucus?
You might want to
go home.
Parliamentary, but that's not an appropriate motion before the caucus, sir. Seeing none.
Whoa.
We will.
In light of the process or lack thereof that we have been a witness to this weekend, I would like to ask what assurance we, the voters, have that the outcome of this vote is legitimate, considering that there were no credentials checked at the time of ballot casting, There was none as far as how many were passed out versus how many were received that was verified at that time.
Wow.
Nor was there anyone standing at the doors to prevent the second district from coming in and filling the room. Before I am told I am out of order, sir, you being a state senator and an attorney, I'm sure you would understand that we would like to have an explanation as to due process and why this has been ignored today as of yesterday, considering the fact, as many of us watched, those that did not have their blue voting cards were using their dinner tickets. So we would like to have an explanation.
The chair thanks the delegate for her comments. Would point out that the integrity of the balloting process was delegated to the county chairs, and the chair has confidence in the ability of those county chairs to have conducted the balloting in a fair and equitable manner, given the difficult circumstances under which we all find ourselves. The chair would recognize the speaker.
Doesn't matter if you accept it.
Not there? Okay, yes, sir. Well, you can stay. That's it. Yes, sir.
I would like to motion, in the interest of time, since we have gone very far on beyond the schedule, and we are very interested in getting this convention completed in a timely manner, I would ask for unanimous consent to allow the 3 people who are the next highest in the delegate race to become the alternates from this race. I ask this in the interest of time because we are not going to finish if we do not move on.
The chair understands that
You guys are
process
dumb.
can only be followed were there to be unanimous consent
Understood.
of the district delegates.
Then I would ask for the election of alternates and presidential electors, I would like to motion that they be done on the same ballot in the interest of time. Thank you.
The chair understands that the motion that the gentleman is presenting is to combine 2 elections in one, which would be the election of the 3 alternates delegates to the National Convention with an election on the election of elector from Congressional District number 1. Is that your motion, sir?
Yes, to put them on the same ballot so they can be voted and counted at the same time so that we can get done with this district convention and move on to other business.
The chair understands that that motion is properly before the caucus and further understands that it would require only a majority vote of those members of the caucus to do so. So, the motion before the caucus is to proceed with the election of alternates and the election of the elector nominee in the same ballot. That motion has been made and seconded. We will do this by the ayes and nays first to see where we are. So all those...
Point of order. That's a suspension of the rules. It needs 2/3 vote.
The chair understands that we are not, in fact, suspending the rules, and the parliamentarians in whom the chair has great confidence advises the chair that the motion only needs a majority vote. So, all those in favor of combining the election of the alternates to the National Convention with the ballot for the elector nominee, please rise and raise your delegate tickets. You don't get extra credit for yelling. Okay.
Domination.
You please be seated. And now with all of those who are opposed to the motion to combine the election of the alternates with the election of the elector nominee, please rise and raise
Few lost
your
souls.
ticket. The chair finally finds that a clear majority of those present and voting has voted to combine those 2 elections, and that's what we do. Now, the next... Yes, sir.
Excuse me, 2 points. Number one, my name's John Atkinson. I was planning to run for alternate. I deserve the right to stand for election.
No, there will be a slate of people nominated for alternate. And then we'll have a separate round of nominations for elector, but the ballot we'll be voting on those at the same time. There'll be 2 elections on one ballot, or there will be 2 separate pieces of paper, but we will combine that process. Chair recognizes the gentleman at microphone number 3.
Hello. Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to...
Good old Charlie.
Those who don't know me, I'm Charlie Webster, Chairman of the party. I just had a request for information. I just want to make sure that everybody understands. The schedule calls for us to leave at 4:30. I assume the chair has a plan to extend the meeting until 6 o'clock. After 6 o'clock, I'll be standing here at 6 o'clock asking us to adjourn, understanding that we are obligated financially to pay tens of thousands of dollars to rent this facility if we are here beyond 6 o'clock. And those resources...
Shut up, Charlie, and let's move.
...to guard are not available for that purpose. So I'm just asking that the chair or the folks involved here will come up with a plan so we can get out of here by 6 o'clock, because my understanding is, my understanding is, and I'm quite concerned, that we will be financially obligated at a rate of $10,000 to $20,000 if we stay here. So hopefully, those folks who are making these decisions will come up with a plan so that we can be out of here in a timely fashion and not have those financial obligations. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. I know that the convention chairman heard those comments and presumably is thinking about them. Now, yes, sir. At microphone number 1, yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to move that if we are going to go over the time in which we rented this space for, that we take our PAs and convene in the parking lot if necessary.
Okay. We are going to try to, with everybody's cooperation, we're going to try to get through the remaining business on the District 1 agenda as quickly as we can, and if folks could hopefully limit their points of order accordingly. The chair would appreciate it. Yes, sir.
Hello, sir. Can you ensure that the previous vote that was taken was done by residents of District 1 only? There's been a major influx.
Can you just sit down?
Convention facility.
We may differ as Republicans about what we want to see happen, but if I could just have one moment. The chair thanks the gentleman for his comments. Can we now move on to our next agenda item? Madam, did you have a...
Point of order.
Yes, ma'am.
Doris Russell. The first thing in fair play is to leave the signs alone. The Romney signs have been taken down.
Well, the chair would hope that nobody would be removing signs of any candidate other than their own. We will now turn our attention to the election of alternates to the Republican National Convention, and we will be electing 3 alternates. The chair asks all those, suspend for one moment.